A very warm welcome and good evening to everyone present here. My name is Yankee. By profession, I'm an actor. But sometimes I also play the role of an anchor because I love talking, so I thought why not make money out of it. So here I am standing right in front of you and welcome everyone once again to Northeast. While getting the briefing for this particular event, I've been said that the guests today, the amazing, beautiful guests that we have joining with us today for this event are from Pan-India, from all the corners of our country. So in case you are visiting Northeast, Assam, Guwahati for the very first time, how we welcome people in Assam. It's namaskar. It's just like namaste, and we say swagatam instead of swagatam. So welcome everyone. Thank you for remembering and keeping in mind Northeast. It's a beautiful place. I'm sure most of you have already planned because it's going to be a 3-day session. So there are places out here which are amazing. You must have a look at. Firstly, we have the Kaziranga National Park. You should definitely try one. We have the Kamakha Temple, which is worldwide famous. You should definitely make a visit there. And there are a few more which I'll be mentioning in between. So while I was coming onto the stage, the organizing committee was just telling me that teach people Assamese. So of course it's not possible to teach everyone Assamese, but I'm going to teach a few words and hope everyone will like it. So firstly, before beginning, would like to ask everyone over here, are you liking Assam? Do you like Assam? Do you like Guwahati? Yes? I can see a huge crowd from here, so it would be great if we all talk, if we all interact. So can we get a greater yes, which means that you actually like it? Yes. Right? Isn't it beautiful? Yes. Also, are you enjoying your stay? Yes, hopefully. Thank you. So by not delaying anymore, ladies and gentlemen, you are here at the 53rd Indian Valuer Congress, IBC. So as we all know, it's a national event. It's by the Institution of Valuers along with IOVRVF and IBBI. It happens every year and you all are always a part of it. But this time we have choose Northeast for the very first time. And we hope you guys keep coming here in the future. This time our theme is investing resources for growth and spread of valuation ecosystem, keeping in mind the theme. As I said, it's the first time in Northeast, and today we have with us national and international speakers who will be on the stage with us. We are supremely glad to have them with us. And moving on, firstly would like to welcome the delegates onto the stage so that we can begin. The names I'll be calling out would request all our dignitaries to please join us on the stage. At the very first, can we please welcome So at the very first, we would like to welcome on stage Mr. P.K. Thiagranjan, President of IOV. Sir, can we please welcome you to the stage? Yes, sir, please. I would request someone to please escort Sir. Welcome to Northeast, welcome to Guwahati. We're glad to have you with us. We'd kindly request you to please take a seat. A huge round of applause for Sir. There should be more claps because the President is on the stage. There should be loud cheers as well because only because of him it's been possible for an event like this. Sir, thank you, and we'd request you to please take a seat. Moving on, can I please welcome on stage Dr. Gautam Sengupta. He's the chairperson, IOVRVF. So would request Mr. Sengupta to be on the stage as well, joining our President, Sir. Now, before we begin with today's event, we would do a tribute to the founder, IOV, PC Goelji, and would request everyone at this present on the stage, our delegates, to please come forward and pay their tributes. The flowers have been kept on the tray and just carry on. If we need help, we have volunteers also. On Techno India University, and before I call him onto the stage, we'll take the honor to please introduce him. So Dr. Sengupta is the Vice Chancellor of Techno India University, West Bengal. He's also adjunct faculty in IIT Kharagpur. Dr. Sengupta has an illustrious career in industries and academics, so requesting him for his special address. Sir, please.
Good evening. I think the best part of today's program was giving tribute and touching the feet of PC Goel. And after that, I don't think anything more is required to be spoken. He was the father of valuation, and all of us, we are here because of his vision. And he could see what is going to happen and what are the things which should have done to take this particular profession forward. At the same time, I am very happy to see that his son, the Managing Director of IOVRVF and the General Secretary of IOV, is taking forward his passion, which is making this profession grow. And we are very proud to see that IOV is the largest professional body and growing exponentially, and so as IOVRVF. Big hand of applause. So with these initial comments, I would start my speech. And firstly, the respected dignitaries on the dais and all esteemed delegates, it gives me immense pleasure to address this august gathering on this great occasion of 53rd Indian Valuers Congress IVC 2022, the annual event of IOV. The day also coincides with the completion of 5 golden years, IOVRVF. And I take this opportunity to congratulate all associated with IOVRVF for this most exciting 5 years journey we had. And we never looked back, we grew from strength to strength. I'm sure many of our directors are here, and I congratulate all of them. Now, since I am from the university, you know, the university people have a passion for education, technology, and I come from an university. The name of the university suggests that it is a technology university. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Techno India University. I do not know how many of you know about this. This is the largest, first private university in the state of Bengal, and we have more than 60,000 enrollments. We are predominantly an engineering university. And why I am here? Because we have a school of valuation. We were the first academic partner of IVST in this country. And we have signed an MOU with IOV to start valuation program in graduation and post-graduation level. So that brings me here, more than I am the chairman of IOVRVF. Now, today's Congress, being the largest conglomerate in nature for Indian valuers, as chairperson of IOVRVF, and also knowing my background that I teach, I shall give you certain key advices to Indian valuers for the long-term sustainability, because the first speaker, the president of IOV, learned president, he spoke about sustenance. And therefore, we have to look at how do you sustain this profession for many, many, many more years. And we have certain few advices in that. Now, and also it fits to the theme of this particular Congress, investing resources for growth and spread of valuation ecosystem. Now let us examine what technology-driven changes could happen over the short to medium term. How will technology advances in real estate impact risk assessment and risk mitigation? With predictive analytics will it shift the valuation problem from what is value, what is the value, to what will be the value? These are just some of the questions the valuation industry needs to address. And these are all possible. I was having a small discussion with Dr. Saini a little while ago. And we have our unique problems, like what you see in IBBI literature and all that. We have unique problem of this country. Nevertheless, you cannot walk against the direction of the world. And therefore, we have to embrace the technology. And there is a big deal of work which the universities and technology institutions and the researchers need to do. I will just give you an example. We talk about, many of you know, we talk about just-in-time, JIT, a technology which Toyota invented. But even today, how many companies have really been able to implement JIT? The reason is that we could not understand to what extent we will give this technology and how we should adapt the technology for the use of the common people. And therefore, the university technology institutions and the researchers need to adopt to those technologies which are easy to handle by our learned valuers. Now, when we talk about this, the enhanced automation in valuation, big data and artificial intelligence are technological innovations that is shifting the construction and real estate appraisal landscape. There is no way you can avoid this. But the responsibility is more on us. How do you really develop those user-friendly technology which are very cost-effective, easy to operate? It's possible. It's very much possible. Now, valuation professionals are unsure how near or far this technology is and how it will impact their professional livelihood. So we need to do a lot of seminars, etc., to educate people, which IOVRVF has started doing. Now, consumers of valuation solutions, investor, lenders, rating agencies, GSEs, who are processing volumes of valuations will have new risk assessment models created by the big data aggregation and models propelling the artificial intelligence. Dr. Saini was saying how technology was implemented in ROC and the returns which the income tax payers they, and it is astonishing how did they change the landscape, and it is one of the revolution which India has very successfully done. So similar revolutions are required to be done. More the responsibility on the educational institutions, the researchers, and the technology experts. We are already seeing drones that inspect properties, smartphones that replace laptops and desktops as workplace production tools, and similar kind of stuff which we are already seeing. Now, valuers need to embrace computer literacy not only to ensure they remain abreast of change, but also to preempt and influence change. It is also imperative to install data analytics and valuation education. Very, very simple. Analytics is the easiest thing today can be done. So this is not something to get scared of. It is very easy. In the school level also, we are now teaching analytics. So in terms of skills, it is said that today's professionals need to be outcomes focused with good oral and digital communication skills. Problem-solving skills should be embedded within valuation education program, but need to be developed to much more advanced levels. Another area we need to look at is that we have to be broad. You know, the profession is growing. So therefore, we need to, if you collaborate, you grow. So there are many universities, institutions, even many RVOs. We need to look at the strengths and look at how do we collaborate, keeping our constitutional boundaries intact. So that is something we need to do. Now, the world's economy has benefited from the growth of international standards, no doubt in that, on a number of fronts, including financial regulations, accounting and auditing standards. Valuation standards have a significant role to play in helping to regulate professional practice in national, regional and global levels, promote professional ethics, integrity, impartiality and trust in valuer activities. Many government and professional bodies are responding to international pressure to regulate the valuation profession by reviewing the regulatory environment, valuer training and compliance with standards. So therefore, that is another area which we need to look at, meaning aligning with the international standards. In yesterday's board meeting, we have taken some very crucial decisions on such things. Now, lastly, India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world and has the third largest spending power, and therefore has a strong interest in high quality approach to valuation, both nationally and internationally. With increasing competition between countries to attract domestic and international investment, it is right that the Indian government has taken steps to improve the professionalism of valuation being performed in India through increased regulation. We welcome that. We appreciate the role which IBBI is playing. Very quality role they have been, as a regulator, they have been playing, and has set up a valuation standard advisory committee to the government in relation to valuation. May I take this opportunity to welcome all the delegates once again attending this Congress, and look forward to lively information and interactive sessions and share valuable learnings to this Congress for the overall enrichment, enhancement and progress of the valuation discipline and profession. Lastly, I once again mention there could not be a better memorizing this event than touching the feet of PC Goel, the visionary who created this. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And moving ahead, so to talk about the tribute about PC Goel ji, there is a memorial lecture which we have kept on the theme of 53rd IBC, that is Investing Resources for Growth and Spread of Valuation Ecosystem. So for that, I would request Dr. R. Narayan Swamy. He is retired Professor of Finance and Accounting, IIM, Chair Technical Advisory Committee, NEFRA. So I would request him to please come forward, and there's a speech which is the memorial lecture. Sir, please. So this might take a while, so would request everyone to be patient.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? I am happy to be part of this 53rd Indian Valuers Congress in this beautiful city. This is my first visit to northeastern India. The view from the aircraft was breathtaking. I've been hearing much about how Assam and the rest of the northeast is changing now, and now I have an opportunity to see it for myself. The late PC Goel founded the Institution of Valuers in 1968 and greatly contributed to the professionalization of the valuation profession in India. Today, the IOV has over 30,000 members drawn from various parts of the country and is on its way to becoming a global Valuation Professional Organization, or VPO. Therefore, I deem it an honor to deliver the lecture dedicated to his memory. I thank the organizers, in particular Sri P.K. Tyagarajan, President, and Sri Vinay K. Goyal, Honorary General Secretary, for giving me an opportunity to present my views on the emerging environment of valuation and the resources needed to grow and spread it in the coming years. As you know, valuation matters in a variety of contexts such as financial reporting, mergers and M&A activity, financing, insurance, taxation, mortgage lending, asset sales, are determining the capital adequacy of financial institutions. High quality valuation fosters financial stability and sustainable economic growth. Common to all valuations is the need for professionalism, competence, and integrity. I have planned this presentation as follows. I begin with an overview of the environment in which valuation happens and how it is changing. Then I explain how these changes can impact the growth of the valuation profession. Next, I identify the resources needed to grow and take advantage of the new opportunities. I conclude with some observations on the governance and regulation of valuers and valuation professional organizations, or VPOs. Let's start with the environment. Valuation happens in a complex world characterized by significant changes in economics, politics, society, climate change, and technology. The Indian economy opened in 1991 and has become ever more competitive. It began with great success stories in services symbolized by iconic companies such as Infosys, Wipro, TCS, HCL, and others. Over the years, success stories are also coming from other sectors such as pharmaceuticals, e-commerce, fintech, and entertainment. Unlike many East Asian and Southeast Asian countries, India's impressive progress has been led less by manufacturing and more by services. However, we find manufacturing catching up in the last few years after the government's push with initiatives such as Make in India. As a result, there are more foreign investors are investing in India. At the same time, we see signs of protectionism and encouragement of domestic companies in the US and in the European Union. The production-linked incentive, PLI, is India's response to bolster its manufacturing for domestic and export markets. So, Indian industry must compete in a more difficult world and has to invest heavily in R&D, training, and technology. We should expect rapid exit of uncompetitive businesses and more M&A activity, mergers and acquisitions. The government is expected to accelerate privatization and disinvestment in the coming years. All these should increase the market for valuation services. The global geopolitical environment is characterized by big power rivalry, mainly between the US and China, but Russia is still very much in the reckoning, as shown by the war in Ukraine. This presents opportunities and challenges to Indian businesses. Large corporations such as Apple, which have most of their manufacturing operations located in China, are now looking for options called China Plus by friendshoring, by moving or diversifying their supply chains to other countries. India stands to gain big, as exemplified by Apple recently moving its operations to Chennai. More companies are re-evaluating their manufacturing strategies, and India ranks among the top preferences along with Vietnam and Malaysia. India's advantage is scale that comes from its large and sophisticated labor force and its vast domestic market for all kinds of products and services. So, we should expect an uptick in FDI. This too should increase the market for valuation services. At the same time, valuation is going to become riskier because of global uncertainties. Significant social pressures and changes are also affecting valuation. The right to fair compensation and transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013 is an example of how the voices of small landholders has led to a drastic change in the colonial era land acquisition law. This law has turned valuation practices upside down. As an example, the requirement to pay compensation for land in a rural area up to 2 times its market value is a socio-political response to demands from people whose villages are rapidly gobbled up by urbanization. As social tensions resulting from economic inequalities increase, we should expect even more assertion of rights by disadvantaged groups. Valuers should be sensitive to social changes. Climate change is profoundly affecting the way we live and is going to have an even bigger effect in the years to come. The floods in Pakistan, the intense heat wave in northern India this year, and recurring forest fires in California and Australia are all warning signals that imperil livelihoods and hence impact property valuations. A piece of land that may be worth a lot today can be worth much less because of extreme climatic events. Also, assets that were worth billions until a year back are now turning into headaches. For example, some oil and gas properties and coal mines are now stranded within quotes because of pressure from environment groups and investors in ESG compliant funds. ESG meaning environment, social and governance. In their place, renewable energy in solar, hydrogen and nuclear power plants is attracting a lot of investment. India has committed to achieve net zero emissions by 2070. We should expect a lot of churn in power generation in the next 2 or 3 decades. Finally, technology is affecting the way valuation activity is conducted. Drones and image streaming systems have already reduced the number of site visits and the time and cost of producing valuation reports. They also make valuation of assets in remote or inaccessible locations easier. Blockchain-based systems such as smart contracts can reduce the scope for conflict of interest in the terms of valuation engagement. Artificial intelligence is changing the way professionals in many fields work. For example, machines can now read MRIs and detect cancer tumors with great accuracy, faster and at a fraction of the cost of engaging radiologists and oncologists. When computers came in the 1960s, accountants were worried that they will be replaced. Instead, they have made accountants trained in the use of computers more employable. New technology will push the valuation profession into a digital data analytical age. As an example, I would recommend that you read the report produced by RICS, Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, on the impact of emerging technologies on the surveying profession in 2017. Let me now move to what valuation professional organizations should do to prepare their members for their emerging challenges. First comes promoting thought leadership. This comes from considerable investments in research activities. These should be directed at advancing the state of knowledge in specific emerging areas. One thing that comes to my mind is sustainability and resilience. Governments worldwide recognize the importance of sustainability and resilience after the recent COVID pandemic and a zero COVID response of the Chinese government. Collaboration with institutions in India such as Indian Institutes of Management, Indian Institutes of Technology, national law schools and leading universities would be a good start. Over time, it is necessary to extend the international reach of BPOs by working with organizations in both developed and developing countries. Globalization of the valuation profession is already happening and will gain momentum as India progresses and attracts international investment. It works both ways. Indian valuers will have opportunities to work outside and foreign valuers would want to set up shop in India. My suggestion to you is to face competition by building capacity rather than try to avoid it by asking for government protection. If Indian IT, pharma and entertainment firms can be world beaters, there is no reason why valuation firms can't be. Litigation support and expert witness are important as valuation disputes get more sophisticated and take place in international locations such as the Singapore International Arbitration Center. Taking property valuation as an example, expert knowledge in valuation can be useful in insolvency, landlord-tenant disputes, family disputes, mediation and property settlement. IOV should come up with industry standards and guidelines on how to provide expert witness services and the role of valuers in arbitration. High quality valuation education in academic institutions is important to attract young talent to the profession. IOV can formulate a model curriculum for specialized undergraduate and postgraduate programs in valuation. Also, valuation can be included in engineering, design, architecture and business management programs. Competitive advantage comes from intangible assets. Sadly, valuation methods for intangible assets are still primitive. Companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook and Tesla are worth what they are not because of their land, buildings, manufacturing equipment and other tangible assets. Much of their value comes from assets such as brands, research and development, supply chain and data that have no physical form or substance. As the pace of innovation picks up, the role of intangible assets is bound to increase in business valuation. For all these skills and resources, valuers need all-round education. Besides the core of valuation, valuers need to be well informed about civil law, including commercial law, accounting, finance, marketing, operations, business strategy, oral and written communication, and team building and interpersonal skills, among others. A lot of online free resources, including MOOCs, massive open online courses, are available. Where necessary, additional resources should be developed. Finally, governance and regulation of valuers and VPOs. A proper regulatory framework can enable the orderly development of the valuation profession and make it accountable to society. a committee set up by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, in which I was a member, has developed a comprehensive legislative framework, including a draft law for the consideration of the government. IOV and other VPOs should take up the matter at senior levels of the government to get the laws by Parliament at the earliest. Without waiting for the government's regulatory framework, VPOs should raise their game. Among others, they should bring in outside expertise in the form of non-executive members of their governing boards. This will help, and the detailed report published in June 2022 is available on its website. I found it forthright and insightful, and it even has a roadmap for reform. I hope the authorities in IOV will contemplate on these ideas and suggestions and come up with appropriate responses soon. I once again thank everyone for listening to me. Here is wishing all of you and your families a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you. Namaste. Dhanyavad.
Swami, actually he was supposed to be in one of the meetings which committed 6 months back. Because of our request, he changed that program and he is with us. And he is the main person in the valuers bill drafting. He knows what is valuation, how it should be done, and he is our guidance for IOV and IOVRVF. Therefore, I request all of you give you a big hand up for him. On behalf of all of you, I would like to shawl from Lord Ranganatha and Abhayastam from Lord Ranganatha.
So, as a token of respect and love from our side, a small felicitation. It's beautiful from what I can look back. And thank you, sir, for your presence. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please. Okay? Please. Sir, close the area, sir. Sir, all of look here. Sir, wait, sir. Wait. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. So, as we move on to the next address by one of our special guests, would definitely have to mention that we are in a win-win situation right now. Like, we cannot avoid the lectures, as well we cannot avoid the songs which has been played in the background, so we'll have to adjust. And one thing that we have learned from sir, just given a speech, is that the best advice I just noticed, I don't know, it's on the subject of concentration. And it is said that wherever you are, be there. Rightly said, sir. We learned, in spite of all these background songs, you've done the speech so well and so deliberately. And thank you, sir, once again. And now moving on, would like to welcome our address by a special guest. He is Mr. Sumant Batra. He is the founder, Insolvency Law Academy. So welcome, sir, and would request you to please address the gathering.
Well, I have to compete with the the voices and the music that is coming from that side, but I think as a lawyer I can give them a challenge for sure. And also I wanted to mention to Yankee, because she made that comment in the beginning that she wants to make some money by talking, but then she has to join the legal profession because that's where you actually earn money, by talking. Now, some very esteemed guests have spoken before me, and I was thinking therefore, Mr. President, as to what is it that I should cover, because again there are very esteemed speakers to follow. So if you allow me to take the liberty, I will speak from my mind, speak from my heart, as I gathered my thoughts while I was listening to the speakers, also observing you. But before that, I first of all wanted to acknowledge the presence of the esteemed chief guest, the other dignitaries on the stage, Dr. Saini, my friend from a very long time, and Mr. Pradhan from IBBI, and of course our hosts who have invited us here, and ladies and gentlemen. When I was coming to the venue, it was twilight. When I sat here, I saw very senior, experienced people on the stage, off the stage. And it sort of provoked me into thinking about a subject which I very frequently talk with my wife about, the twilight that you see around, not just as I observed as an evening, as a day twilight, but the twilights of life, the twilight of our nation, the twilight of the economy. We are very senior people here, as I mentioned, and it obviously is a matter of pride to the profession to have such great wealth of knowledge and experience in this compound. But when I go to the malls in Delhi or to watch a cinema, what I see is a vast young youth sitting everywhere, spending money, trying new food, exploring new opportunities. When I go to the courts, in Delhi especially, with the Supreme Court, High Court or other forum, I see an ocean of young lawyers, girls, boys. Now for those young people, this economy is the twilight where they see the sun of a free market economy rising. For us, including myself, we are in the twilight where we see the evening of the day that we have lived gloriously, often struggling, but at the same point of time, we see on the horizon the shades and the hues of the sun that is rising. And the evening of our life, the youth of our life has been spent in a protective economy. This nation is actually at a stage of twilight where we, the people who have lived in a protected economy, are watching and observing a future of a free market economy where our children, our grandchildren will live. While there is a beautiful harmony because we all think of our children, of their future, of the prospects, of the opportunities which a free market economy will bring to them, But often we fail to recognize, and that's where sometimes I feel very challenged, is that while we are all very determined to leave a great legacy and a bright future for the children, but we do not see the youth very inclusive at this point in time, at the leadership level, at the policy maker level, at the level where we have to decide, if I may just say, the rules of the game for the future. And I say this with a degree of seriousness, because when I talk to my son, he's just about 20. They have a very different take of the future of a free market economy. Their whole principles, approaches, ethics are very different. But what they feel frustrated with is that they are again being made to decide as to how they should live, even though what we are giving to them is a free market economy, which by definition, by sheer definition, is something that allows everyone to think freely, dream, let dreams bring ideas, let ideas turn into innovation, and as a nation, as policymakers, as those who are transiting the nation from a protected economy to a free market economy, give them an ecosystem where we also become a nation where dreams are fulfilled. When America was deciding what it should do after it got its independence, it was determining what its meaning and definition of freedom is. What it decided was that we want to become a nation of dreamers where people come to fulfill their dreams. In the 80s, even in the 90s, we had this tremendous brain drain, as you all know, where everybody left for US or other countries to fulfill their dreams. Now, it is time for India to become a nation where our own young people fulfill their dreams. And we give them a truly free market economy. And what is a free market economy from an Indian perspective? If I were to sort of try and shift the discussion more closer to the topic that would interest you, because that is what here you are for, which is that we learn to respect failure. When a person dreams, he innovates, he tries his hands at something he believes is an idea which can be turning into an entrepreneurship idea, which can actually be converted into a successful business. He takes risk. And any civil society has to invest in that idea, notwithstanding the fact that that idea may result into a success or a failure. And if it becomes a failure, as long as it is not a failure which is because of an act of mala fide, a fraudulent act, we have to give it the same respect as you would give to the success. And that is why in US, in Supreme Court in 1980s, when US introduced its insolvency law, which was a a modern insolvency law, which where the first attempt to modernize the insolvency law was made, it was decided that as a philosophy of the nation, we will accept legitimate failure, we will forgive the unfortunate and give him a second chance. And that is where ultimately the goal of our insolvency law is and has to be.
भैया सामने मत आना। भैया हाथ मत लगाओ हमने। भैया नहीं।
Thank you. Just doing the refilling out there, and thank you for being with us here today.
Sir, please. Wait, sir. Okay, thank you.
This competition is going intense. It was from that side, now it is started from this side also. So I start to address the respected dignitaries on the dais, other experts on the dais, and all valuation experts on the other side. Only I am the person who is not the expert in the valuation side. Though I represent the regulator, and regulator is supposed to know everything which he regulates. So before I start, I would like everybody to clap for the happy birthday of IOVRVF, and this is the foundation day, I am told. And both the child and the father are sitting here. So I think we should clap more and more. And it is, whether it will allow us to clap more and more. I am sure there will be a cake cutting ceremony will be lined up for this very important celebration. Again, I have one message from our chairperson. Initially, he was supposed to grace the occasion, but due to some exigencies, he could not do. So I would like to read few lines which he has addressed to the IOVRVF. I applaud to the Institution of Valuers on hosting the 53rd annual Indian Valuer Congress from December 16 to 18 December in Guwahati, Assam, adopting our beloved PM's vision of making Northeast India as a gateway to Southeast Asia, having a theme of gateway, theme of investing resource for growth and spread of valuation ecosystem in collaboration with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, the authority under the Companies Registered Valuers and Valuation Rules 2017 and the IOB Registered Valuer Foundation. I am certain that 53rd Indian Valuer Congress will allow the IOB and IOVRVF to demonstrate the valuation profession's advancements over the previous years and further improve the ability of valuation experts in growing areas. I wish the 53rd Indian Valuer Congress the greatest of success. So this is a message from our chairperson which I wanted to quote here. So I will try to keep it very short, and I want your involvement in my just delivery, which I want to deliver something. I hope the last table person also can hear me if they can raise hands. Hello, sir. Not that side, this side. Okay. Hope you can hear all us. So I have just been told about some data. IOB, the parent of IOVRVF, has the member strength of 31,000 plus. And this is what the resource which IOB has with it. But unfortunately, the registered side of the valuers only is 2,000 plus, which is available with the IOVRVF. Still, they command 1/3 of the registered valuer community in the country. But I would like such a, I would say it's a gold mine which is sitting with the parent body of RBO. And 31,000 valuers, why don't they come to the registered side under the Companies Act or the IBC side? So I would like to just share one important development which has happened recently. FSDC, you know, this is the financial sector development body is there, which is a body financial regulators represent. They have passed a resolution that all the government bodies, financial sector regulators, they should be hiring the services of a registered valuers which are registered by IBBI as an authority under the valuation rules. So please be part of this journey, and I am sure once you are regulated, you will get, your business will get a manifold increase. I am very sure. So please use this opportunity. And such a big number of valuers, 31,000, this is really a news to me today. I am very sorry, though we regulate the valuation profession. And this program is being conducted in north and eastern side of the country, which has been shared to me the reason forward. This side of the country has only 16 valuers who are registered under the valuation rules. Though there will be many more working in an unregistered or maybe in an unregulated manner. So it is a good opportunity for them to come and become part of this regulated side of the valuation, and that will give definitely advantage to their profession. So please don't miss that journey. So now, as a regulator also, I would like to say a few things only. Some concerns which we have, the major one is the uniformity issues and the approach which is being followed by the valuers in conducting some valuation. Though it may be because we don't have the valuation standards uniform, which is India specific, though rules says that you can adopt international valuation standards or the valuation standards which RBOs are if they issue any such type of standards. But I don't think many RBOs, they have issued that. So there is a need for coming out of some standardized valuation standards for India specific. And why these concerns are coming? Internally, we examined few cases where 3 valuers were appointed to value a single property. See, you may be aware that under IBC or under our regulations, where between the 2 valuers valuation there is a substantial difference, and which is now we have specified by way of regulation, that is 25%. Then a 3rd valuer has also to be appointed. So what happened? We examined few of such cases where 3 valuers were appointed. Then we came to know that the 2 valuers difference was even more than 100%. So how is it possible? So we feel that it is only because of some standards which we are not following up, and that is the need of the day. So I would urge all RBOs to come together, because this power of standards is not given to the authority, that is IBBI. We cannot specify those standards because this valuation profession is still under the rules only, and we have some limited powers. It is only the central government which can specify these standards, and there was a committee which was constituted which has recommended standards also, but somehow that report has not seen the light of the day, and that is still pending consideration. So still RBOs, I feel they have some liberty to frame standards, and some of them have done it, but why don't they come together and come out with the standards without the help of even the authority, that is IBBI, because rules permits them to have some standards. So please join together and come out with some standards to address this uniformity issues. That's the biggest issue we are facing. And another issue, this technology, which was just said by the previous speakers. So as a regulator, we can just say that technology cannot replace the human skills of the valuers. It can only aid to the valuation. So that we have to keep it in mind. So valuer as a human has to be there. No technology can bypass them. So please keep that in mind. And another thing we have to keep mind in that sometimes technology may create some monopolies. So that also we have to keep it in mind, because it should not happen at one part of the country there is good technology available but other side is not. So human skills have to be there. Please keep improving those skills. There is a provision that this continuous professional education program which RBOs are conducting. So please join those programs. Even I am told that for this program also, there will be a CPERs will be given to you. And please take very seriously these 3 days event. I have seen the schedule. Many important these programs or they have been identified, and they are very good speakers are addressing those programs. So these 2 days continuously, please get involved and come out with some good solutions for improvement of the valuation profession. Thank you very much.
क्लोज रहिए सर थोड़ा आगे आ जाइए आप थोड़ा सा मेरी तरफ बस सर चालू किया सर वेट
Thank you, sir.
कुर्सी पे चढ़ जाओ.
And we have another guest of honor joining us today at our event. So I would like to call on to the podium Mr. S.K. Barwa. He's the Executive Director, NetFee, and would request him to please deliver a speech.
Sri P.K. Thiagarajan, President IOV, Raju Tayangji, Principal Chief Commissioner Guwahati, Sri Gautam Sengupta, Chairperson IOVRVF, Mr. Sumit Batra, Founder Insolvency Law Academy, Amit Pradhan, Executive Director IBBI, Sri Binay Goyal, Honorary General Secretary IOV, Dr. R. Narayan Swamy, Retired Professor of Finance and Accounting, I am Bangalore. Dear registered chartered accountant, advocates and members from other communities, delegates, attending participants from various organizations, ladies and gentlemen, namaste, namaskar. In Assamese, we greet by saying the word namaskar. And a very good evening you all. It's my privilege to attend the 53rd Indian Valuer Congress, IVC 2022 here in Guwahati, organized by Institute of Valuers in association with IOVRVF Registered Valuer Foundation, and for inviting me to grace the inauguration session.